Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Joshin-Strike Podcast. I've got a special guest here as well. He's been, well, I wouldn't say he's an insider, but he's an avid fan of the Mongolian scene. You may know him. You see him Thursday in particular. And he's been in a lot of Mongolian streams. You can see him all the time, cheering on the Mongols or any Mongolian team in particular. I've caught you in the XSE Pro stream as well, Pro League stream as well, supporting Chinggis in particular. How have you been today?
I've been doing pretty good today.
Yep. So overall, what have you been up to? You've been enjoying the Mongols games in particular. How do you enjoy XE Pro League? How you think everything's going? What have you been up to?
I've just been, watching Mongolian CS, watching Asia APAC CS,
Mm-hmm.
just being a fanboy.
How do you get into being a massive fan of Mongolian CS, or just being completely immersed and enveloped by it?
Well, I like Counter-Strike, and I'm Mongolian, so I guess that's it.
Any particular moment, any particular moment where you what sort of clutch moment or epic moment that made you become a fan of Mongolian CS?
Urcast qualifying to the major Greyhound.
Yeah, I do remember
that. That was sort of it.
Which major was that? Was that for Stockholm, or I'm trying to remember when Urcast qualified for the major? It's
in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it would have been Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did they go with Berlin in particular? How far did Urcast get in the end? I kind of forget, because I always just remember that with the Renegades Dream Run, and that's it.
Back in Berlin.
Yep.
I actually don't remember too much.
Yeah, because for Australians, because for myself, it's all Renegades, because Renegades were 0-2, and they came back in 3-2 and qualified and made it to the semis and beat Ents. But any other key moments as well that you're proud of for being a Mongolian CS fan? Any big moments in particular?
Last year's Katowice when IET 2-0 Cloud9, that was hype.
Mm-hmm. Also as well, with the Mongolian scene overall, do you feel it's improving, growing? What are your thoughts about it?
I think it still has room to grow,
Mm-hmm.
The Mongols are getting direct world ranking invites, not just, Asian ranking invites, so.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing ATOX in Pro League, we're seeing, Ria, Rare Atom and Rio alongside Mongols,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Asia CS in particular now, we've got the third spot, won by the Mongols in particular. Do we think we can steal a fourth spot for the Asia RMR scene?
Maybe. Just hope and pray to the gods that the Falcons Mongols play well.
And they don't get to verse each other in the lower bracket.
Straight cannibalism, man.
Yeah, pretty much it. I'm looking at IEM Cologne, I'm just that's cannibalizing Asia pretty hard there.
Yeah.
So you went to the Mesa event in particular, so the tier 2 event. For some reason, I completely forgot.
Masters.
That's right.
Yeah, the Mac Masters. Yeah.
How was it? How do you enjoy it? Another LAN event in Mongolia.
It was pretty cool. The worst part was probably the fact that at the end of the first day, right, the last match was Aurora versus Linvision, and literally everyone in the stadium left.
Oh,
it was just it was just 70 or 80 guys in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Probably less than that.
What was the good parts of it? Everyone in the stadium. Oh, I should ask, how late was it?
When everyone left, it wasn't even that late. It was 9, 10, around that.
Mm-hmm. Did you catch the Aurora manager in particular? Because the Aurora manager, he's very active when he was in Melbourne. Did you see him around?
Oh, yeah, I saw him walking around. I was sitting next to the an area where a bunch of the players and the talent were like lounging, I guess.
Yep. Do you say you get any signatures and anything like that off the players? You know, they usually have those panels and whatnot.
Right there. So, I have 6 signed posters.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming Gladiators, Lin, Chinggis Warriors, Bleed, OG, and Aurora.
I just realized that the posters are all signed.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm thinking see it on stream, but it's my signed Mongol jersey.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes it depends on the gleam of the sun and whatnot. Yeah. Was that like the old Mongols or the current Mongols version with 910 and Mazinho and Senzu?
Current Mongols.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, signed by everyone on the Mongols, plus Coach Mara.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also have like Zesta, Dobu, and Emma Q from ATOX.
Yep. So I was gonna say, how hype was it? Because I'm trying to remember who won. I know it was Mongols who won the tournament in the end. I get like, you know, all those free tournaments like Yala and stuff like that become a blur for me. But how hype was it? Like, how loud was the stadium when Mongols won that event?
Pretty damn loud. There was a lot of complaints about crowd cheating in particular, because you had like dudes yelling behind you, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta say the biggest complaint has been the crowd cheating. I remember like a lot of people in particular, I think it was at one of the Blast tournaments, Gratisfaction did the good old flip the birds after the Danish fans were cheating for Australis. How do you like combat the crowd cheating? Like, do you try to do anything to be like, hey guys, don't fucking do that, or is it just like it's pretty hard to police?
It's pretty hard to police. I just sat there and watched. I had like after map 2 or map 3, they had Blitz come out and make a statement telling everyone to.
Okay, that's pretty good. Kind of like, you know, like what Taz did previously as well when they were booing. I'm trying to think who they were booing. It was they booed a team that beat VP, and Taz came out to not boo them. Basically, it was in Katowice, so obviously. So I've got to say overall, like, you know, what made you like collate? Because you give a lot of team information to myself and a lot of other talent. What makes you like collate all these different teams that are Mongolian in particular, and like the players of the IGLs, the AWPers, and players to watch out for? Like, you know, what, like, you know, what's the intention and reason behind it?
Well, the reason I send all this information to talent is because, you know, it's useful. You know, it's useful in their casts.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you're casting Cube and you don't know who their operative is, you can, you know, maybe go back to the DMs that I said, that, you know, I said, and yeah.
Do you like or talk to teams in particular to be like, hey, you know, how, you know, who's your AWPer, who's your IGL, who are your riflers, or even, you know, ask how to pronounce your name just in case it's just like, you know, some names I've said them completely wrong. And I'll give you one example. Roy from Gaming Gladiators is a cruel name to say if you're not Danish.
So with me, I don't really like talk to. I only talk to like a few players directly, or like I ask them while they're streaming and whatnot. But most of the time, I'm working off of, you know, info I gather myself from, you know, rumors and you know, the Facebook groups and stuff like that.
Also, I want to ask you in particular, what was made IHC come back to the scene? Do you have any inside info on that? Because obviously IHC were a bit, you know, something I'd say disavowed, given what happened with that Mongols roster in particular. Because I believe it was something with the owners or something like that. But anyways, they've been welcomed back, it seems.
I actually think a part of the reason why IHC didn't just acquire ATOX was because Cabal's in the ATOX roster, and he previously played under IHC.
Could be something to do with that.
Yeah. The IHC are pretty big within Mongolia. They have, you know, rosters in a bunch of different games. I think they have like one of the best PUBG Mobile teams in the world that won like a bunch of tier 1 wins and stuff. and stuff like that. They have their own basketball team,
Oh wow!
Mongolian basketball team.
What sort of basketball team did they have? Did they qualify for the Olympics or?
Nah.
Uh,
But it's like a pretty big team, from what I understand.
mm-hmm. How also as well, I should ask another question. How big is Mongolian mobile gaming in particular? You talked about the mobile PUBG. What other games are in mobile that is really hype in Mongolia?
There are, like, I guess, two main games.
Mm-hmm.
One is obviously PUBG Mobile, like I mentioned. The other one is Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
So Mobile Legends. So what is that like? You know, what sort of games? Is that another FPS or is it a MOBA? Or?
Yeah, it's a MOBA. It's pretty much a League of Legends ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, overall, what do you think is, what's one of the teams that you really enjoy in the Mongolian scene? Like, you really support, get behind out of all the Mongolian teams, okay? Which one's your favorite?
Cube. Easy, Cube.
What do you like the Cube for?
They're like up and coming. Like, they're kind of, I think of Cube as, like our Cologne the Mind Freak in a way.
Kind of like the underdog story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for coming on me for the interview at such late notice. Well, let's talk about some stuff in particular, like the results and whatnot, because we both know that we're trying to rush to a FlyQuest and Mongos game where we both get to cannibalize each other in about an hour or so. So, really appreciate you coming on at short notice. But we'll talk about the first topic in particular, which we're going to go in a bit more to with the Asia RMR. It's the XE Pro League and Cologne results, as well as the Asia RMR stuff as well. Let's start with the XE Pro League. Another new TO in the Asia space in particular, which is really good for everyone, including Oceania. This one was a bit of a interesting format where they had a group stage before it, and then they qualified for a playoffs, which was single elim best of threes. And they invited a bunch of teams in particular, like, Tyloo, Reatom, Linvision, Chinggis, Bad News Kangaroos, and Garmin Gladiators. What's your, opinion of how the whole tournament played out?
I mean, I think it's good. I think it's great, that it was not only sure, it was mainly a Chinese tournament, but they also invited the Gaming Gladiators at BNK. Mm-hmm. It's really great to see a domestic TO holding an event, such a big arena event with foreign teams.
Yep. It also
says, I think.
Oh, sorry.
I think the event. I think the event ran pretty well. There weren't too many tech delays. It wasn't like a Sky Esports or a Misa RMR type situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say the tech pause. I think the longest one was about during a Tyloo v Rare Atom game, where it was about 30 or 40 minutes because the game didn't start in time. And they were resolved relatively quickly. You always saw an admin really by the desk trying to get everything fixed and stuff like that as well. I was gonna say, what were the teams that impressed you and what were the teams that disappointed you?
Obviously, the team that impressed me the most was Chinggis, and the team that disappointed me the most was probably Lin, who lost to Chinggis.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, what makes you feel that way? Chinggis doing really good and Linvision doing really poor.
It's Linvision, they should debate. They should be second at this event. At the very least, third at this event.
Mm-hmm.
And they did place third or fourth, but they should not have lost to Chinggis Warriors, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what do you feel like?
I mean,
what I'm trying to say is, why do you think they should have lost to Chinggis? Is it the roster or? Could even be the map feeder. It could be Linvision's map feeder is a lot better than Chinggis's, basically.
Well, I think Linvision, pound for pound, band for band, have a better IGL and better overall riflers.
Mm-hmm.
Lin should not be losing to debatably the fifth best Mongolian team.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. Overall, my two teams in particular is just basically, as I said, Chinggis Warriors that impressed me the most. They took a map of Tyloo, which was very impressive, given the fact I would have just said 3-0, see you later, bye, they're not strong enough. They took a map of Tyloo, Nuez and Fury looked really, really good at the event as riflers, like extremely good. Like they made a lot of key moves and key interventions as well. Stardust and Zerold as well at times, like when their players were looking down and whatnot, they were able to trigger and get a couple of kills over the line. And Zilkenberg, of course, the eternal meme as I call him as well. Like, he was just sharp as attack pretty much. And yeah, they took a map of Tyloo. Tyloo is just like, acquiring every single best player from different teams and whatnot. And Lin Vision, I'd say the one that disappoints me the most is between Lin Vision and Garmin Gladiators. At least Lin Vision won against BNK. Garmin Gladiators, I know they versus Tyloo and lost, but they just didn't show much fight in this. It seemed like Tyloo were just walking over them. I guess you can put it down to the roster changing and whatnot, but that's what disappointed me the most overall. But, as everyone was expecting, Tyloo won the tournament. They beat Chinggis Warriors 3-1. What do you think of Tyloo in particular?
Yeah, I think the new Tyloo is looking pretty strong.
Mm.
I think they're the best Chinese team right now.
Mm-hmm. And any players in particular you want to point out, like that the reason why they're so strong, or is it just like
Jamyang?
Yeah,
not only the sharpest player in the roster, he's also the IGL from what I heard.
Yeah, he is the IGL. I always wonder that because I'm like Mercury, Mosier, Starry, Jamyang. Where's the IGL? And then that's what Jamyang took up the reins in particular because that's been reported on as well. And yeah, he's the sharpest player. He's the sharpest aimer in particular. He played very, very well. I think one person that was really overshadowed here was Mercury. Mercury had an amazing event. He was just basically that second man where if Jamyang struggled for a round, Mercury's got a free K basically. And there was so many pistol rounds when I was casting that. We're like Mercury 3K, Mercury 4K, basically.
Yeah, he's Mercury, Jose and Mercury, they're the god Chinese duo. They just had the best name in the world.
How frustrating it would have been as a Mongolian fan when every pistol round is just, against Chinggis was Mercury 4K, Mercury 3K. I can imagine it like pulling your hair out, being like, fucking stop him.
Just shoot him. Just click on him, please.
Oh man. But yeah, overall I'd say it was a well run tournament. I've got to say the arena looked full. Everyone was having fun. Even during the tech pause, you had the banners and whatnot as well. And also I've got to say the players were all in the crowd. You had PZ at one point. You had Captain Mo, and various other Asia or Oceanic players and celebrities and whatnot. That was really, really awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll move on to the next one, which will be IEM Cologne, the play-ins. So we've had one BO3 so far, and we go through the Asia ones first. Okay, so FlyQuest and Big. Okay, FlyQuest. This is actually the funny part. All the games you expect FlyQuest to have thrown a lead to lose this, but FlyQuest actually made a really impressive comeback on Vertigo against Big. But obviously, like most comebacks, not close enough.
It was like 13-11, right? From what I remember.
Yeah, it was 13-11. They lost the last round.
Just one round.
Mm-hmm. It was 16-14. FlyQuest win the first map. 13-10 on Inferno. 13-11 on Vertigo.
All three maps are super damn close.
Mm-hmm. I always put this one up as a 50-50. Like, Big and FlyQuest are like just even on the rankings, okay? This is where I said, like, if FlyQuest want to become a top 20 team and cement their legacy in that top 20 team, they need to be able to make the play-in because all of these teams are playing a top 20, and Big is obviously that gate guardian on the top 20. And I say overall, Int played a very complete game. Like, Int's amazing clutches, was basically influential in that game, and did a lot of heavy lifting in particular. And it's just, Big were just able to just find that one way in and just find that stop somehow. And it was so annoying. I was just going, come on, FlyQuest, you can do it.
Yeah.
I just think overall, I think FlyQuest is close, but my main criticism of FlyQuest has always been they can't close out matches, but they give themselves at least opportunities to win.
So with FlyQuest, I think they are a top 20 team just by looking at how they play.
The reason why I don't think they've cemented it yet is because like teams below them, like there's my opinion is like a lot more teams below them can beat them, but they can't beat too many teams above them. That's how I go by it, and I basically go through the median of that on like that sort of thing. Like I reckon a lot of the teams below them in the top 20 when they were 20 could have beat them, like 3D Max and stuff like that as well. In fact, Big were below them at one stage, and I'm like, I think Big can beat them. But it's as I've said before, it's a 50-50 coin flip because these teams are so close. Anyway, anyways, we'll go to the next one. If you got anything more for that, or nah?
Not really. Unless I just want to talk about, unless you want to hear me talk about how good Enz is as a rifler.
Yeah, you can do that. Talk about how Josh is good as a rifler. He's very good. Like, he's incredible. Like, the game sense, man. Yeah. What are your thoughts about Josh?
I think he's the best Australian player right now. I think he's above JKS.
What do you think he's above JKS for? Is it because he can play different roles, or is just in those clutch moments you can be like, Josh, do shit, Yeah.
He can sometimes like single-handedly just carry, He's just incredibly talented as a rifler. That's just it. Talented.
I would probably give it down to a lot of his clutch moments as well. That when pressure comes on, he's just so composed, and he will try to he'll get a lot of frags for you, try to put everything on the board, everything on the line. Even if you lose like a 1v3 or 1v2 clutch, he would have done so much fucking damage to the other team.
It's just cool as a cucumber.
Exactly. Now let's get on to your mob, okay? The Mongols v Saw. Okay, so what happened? Tell me what happened.
Senzu was playing a bad match. Senzu wasn't playing well, and he's obviously like the wonder child of the team, right? He's like he consistently drops like 1.2 ratings on HLTV, like
yeah.
But he was just having a bad series, and that does too. That was just horrible. Saw literally read Blitz like a book. He just read the Mongols every single time. Like I saw we're pulling a lot of like fakes, and Mongols just falling for it. Pulling rotates. Like saw would send out like it would be just one player sending out a bit of util, and everyone in the Mongols just rotate over to that site.
Yeah, I did notice that as well. In other games, particularly like even before the Sword game, the Mongols often really over-rotate. Like if you throw like a native like that rotating play is actually really close to the side.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't know. I feel like that could be something they could work on.
Yeah, definitely. It works at times as well. If they actually are hitting the site, it can be very crucial having that third player there or fourth player there. But so Senzu obviously not having a good day. I mean, of course, Senzu had 0.81 rating, okay, and he was not playing well as well. And I just felt his impact was missing as well. Like, his influence and impact, where he's able to get that one kill, he's able to make players afraid of him, basically. Because Saul just had free reign on Dust too, I'm going to say. Anubis was an arm wrestle. Ancient was just Mongols doing Mongols things, basically, because they're very strong on Ancient. But Dust 2, they just did whatever they wanted, basically.
Yeah. It's not like Mongols Dust 2 is not too bad. They beat Eternal Fire on Dust 2, so...
Yeah. Oh, where did they beat Eternal Fire Dust 2? Was that in Yala or Challenger?
No, the Sky Esports.
Sky Esports, yeah. And Eternal Fire's not a bad team. Like, Eternal Fire's... I'd say definitely in the top 20, but not in the top 10 yet.
Yeah, Eternal Fire's like tier 1.5. They obviously had that amazing major performance, and
yeah. I'm trying to think, did they have a good ESL Pro League performance? I remember getting added by a bunch of Turks when I said the Eternal Fire wasn't a tier 1 team, and I'm like, they're not. like they're not in the top six. Like the tops, like pretty much of my top six in particular goes, you goes the famous top six. So you got your Na'vi, you got your Spirit, you got your FaZe. I'm gonna forget one of the teams. Okay, you got your Vitality. You got basically those top six teams that always qualify for everything. You're just like, yep, it's always those six, isn't it? And then you've got, your Stralis, your Heroic, your VP that are all way on the outside, and the Mongos as well. Just hoping that they all fall apart, and then you got basically everyone else. And then we're going to talk about the next match in particular, okay? We're going to talk about the match that everyone is looking forward to. Big V Sword. No, not just kidding. Sorry. Mongos v FlyQuest, okay? Hey, we're going to go through quickly. Quick 3 points on why FlyQuest is going to win, and quick 3 points why Mongos is going to win. My points with FlyQuest, Ints, absolute clutch player. You're going to love it there as well. Next part, I'm going to say is Vexite. I feel Vexite's going to flare up. He's going to work well off Ints in particular. And lastly, Urkas, because Urkas has a big touch on the Mongolian scene in general. So he's been able to counter a lot of what the Mongols puts out. What are your thoughts about on the Mongos side on why they're going to win?
Now with the Mongols, I have a better upper, right? That's the first thing, and if well, it depends on what the video is going to be like, but I feel like one other thing as well is that the Mongols have already beaten Greyhound at the RMR.
Yep. I think they've won the last 2 BO3s. Let me just see the game history, but I think they've won the last 2 BO3s against FlyQuest. Oh no, it says 1, but maybe it's just a different roster, if you get what I mean. Just a different roster they beat them with. Because obviously this roster's turned a bit, and your roster's turned a bit since the previous iterations as well. Any other points for Mongos?
Well, I think Blitz. Blitz is more of a fragging agile. Like Dexter, I think Dexter's a better caller, but like Blitz is a better, mechanically.
And also, Dexter's got good clutch. Blitz has got good clutch. Is just Blitz the better clutcher, or anything else with Blitz?
Well, Dexter can also, frag sometimes. You know, it can't just drop. It can't just pull up and just kill everyone in your team, I've
seen that happen so much, man. I was like, Dexter's just like, Dexter 3K.
Yeah, and you're left like, what? He's supposed to be the IGL. What?
Yeah.
How has he killed all 4 of our players? What?
What about 3 weak points on, like, why Mongos may lose? I'll start with FlyQuest, like 3 weak points. FlyQuest grab all these big leads, and they can't hold them. They just need a person that's able to close the door, especially in the Mongols, because they don't give up. Another thing in particular, I gotta say, like, Ali's always been the people that everyone blames, okay? And I don't think he's bad as everyone says he is. But if he's not on point of at least getting the normal AWP shots in, holding the line, making sure you punish the people who do silly stuff, that could be a main point here. Because if he gets a bit under pressure, he can miss some of those shots. That's one thing in particular down there. And the other one is, of course, if It's is basically contained by 910, Senzu, and Techno. Like, if he's always traded out, not allowed to perform on the stage and just absolutely raise havoc. Those are the 3 points I feel is going to be there that could break FlyQuest is if, Ali keeps his game up but missing the basic AWP shots that he needs to hit, and It's being contained, and obviously just the composure overall. They really need to be able to shut the door. They get an 11-4 lead against Mongos. They need to make sure Mongos don't come back. And the problem is they always just let them back in, which is annoying.
And out the Mongols' weak points, number one. It's just how inconsistent this team can be. Like, if you look back at the major, like some of these matches, like two players are having an amazing match. One is alright. Two just forgot to turn on their monitors. Next day, the 2 that were playing bad, they're playing amazing. Like,
it's just not having everyone all firing all cylinders all the time, basically.
Yeah.
Any other weaknesses? Like, we got 2 more points.
Another weakness is Urkast, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Urkast knows Mongols' strats. Urkast is already in Mara's brain.
Yeah. Does he pay rent?
Oh, he lives there rent free. I'll bet you $2.
Well, that means he's paying rent if he's paying $2, mate. Anyways, what about the third point? I think you mentioned it before. Like, if Senzu doesn't turn up, that is also a weak point. Like, if the young core doesn't turn up. Because I don't feel composure is really a big weakness for Mongos anymore. Because the composure factor's gone. I remember when Mongos choked 11-4 lead against Astralis and Nuke. And I was the unhappiest person ever. I'm just like, how do you lose that?
They also choked an 11-6 lead against G2 at the Blast Major.
Well, to be fair, like
at Paris.
Do you expect them to beat beat G2 though?
They were actually playing bad. They were actually playing pretty good.
Yeah, true. I'll give you that. I think I'm being a bit harsh. Now let's talk about the Asia RMR, because this is another topic we want to talk about as well. So we got the Asia RMR qualifiers. We got, I think it was Mongos, Vision, and FlyQuest go directly to RMR, the top 3 teams at the moment. And then we got the closed qualifiers, which is Tyloo, Chinggis, Adam, Atox, Rooster, God's Reign, B&K, Mind Freak, and Kimbo, which is actually quite humorous, an A team. True Rippers, KZG, Cat Evil, and Nom. What are your thoughts about the Asia RMR? And what do you think about the 3 teams getting out of this? I feel like this is deja vu, but even more teams now, because we're going to have Talon as well, and Semper Fi, and obviously, well, actually, let's forget about that. We'll probably have either one of Talon or Semper Fi, because only 2 teams can come from Oceania. How do you see this one playing out in the Asia RMR? Like, what teams are going to qualify? As I said before, I just feel like it's just last major, where it's just like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Asia Minor. It's always been about the bracket, you know?
Mm-hmm. What I'm saying, it used to be about the bracket. Like, I gotta be back in history. It used to be it used to be just Tyloo and Renegades. And it's just like, who would place first, Tyloo or Renegades, okay? Now it's just like Mongos, Vision, FlyQuest. You can even say Rare Atom as well. Atox.
Yeah, Rare Atom.
And Tyloo. And it's just like, who's going to qualify? Who's going to get these 2 spots? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so with Rare Atom and Tyloo, there's only one other Chinese slot, so they're gonna have to battle it out. And I absolutely hate the fact that Vision got invited over Tyloo.
Oh, definitely.
It's like a 30 something point gap, I think.
Mm. Oh, have you seen the infamous meme of like the NFL player who's like a few yards short? That's Tyloo. Like, they're just a few yards short of taking that invite. But who do you think's going to take the 2 RMR spots? To go to the major.
Well, a lot of FlyQuest and Mongols. Like, obviously those are like number 1 and number 2 right there. Like, obviously, but the third slot, man. It's a who's who of Talon, Atox, and whoever qualifies out of China.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've said this last time with B&K. Like, I think it was when the Middle East sort of stuff came up. How Oceania had 1 team. I basically said to the B&K guys, I'm like, it doesn't matter if you guys qualified. You guys were going home at the same time anyway, because it was really just Atox, Mongos, Vision, Tyloo, and FlyQuest, and that's it. Obviously, they were Greyhound back then. I'm like, those are the 5 teams that were getting anywhere. If you were the 3 teams that, were in there, you were just making up the numbers, basically. And I gotta say, Atox were really surprising. They played incredibly well. Like, they had the stamina to, like, really duel Greyhound to try and stay alive, which was incredible. And they also beat Tyloo. Obviously, old Tyloo, but that's still impressive enough.
Yeah, they got a map off of Greyhound. Sure, there was no T, but
well, it doesn't
like they played really well. Yeah,
in
that particular match.
Yeah, and like I say, it doesn't matter if they take 1 map. It's the fact they just really pushed Greyhound to the edge. Like, nobody expected Atox to do that.
Yeah, like I think it was earlier in the RMR, like Greyhound, like the map that Atox got ancient off of Greyhound, and like the day before, like 2 days before, Greyhound beat the Atox 13-4 in ancient in the BO1.
Yeah. Yeah. So also going on about that topic as well, like I think that's pretty much it for RMR until the games actually happen. Of course, it's about in 2 weeks or so. Talking about Talon, okay. Have you watched any of the Talon games so far?
No.
You seen the results? How impressed are you with the results? Are you impressed, or you expected, or is just like X? I know you've seen the results.
Uh, so yeah, I think Talon's results are actually pretty good because they beat Rebels 2-0. And Rebels is like a decent tier 2, tier 3 EU team. So
yeah, I basically tweeted out as well. I'm just like, if you beat Rebels, you'll be competitive with the Asia RMR, because a lot of the Asia RMR teams, they are at the tier 2 EU level. Like, especially like, the Mongos, Envision, FlyQuest. Obviously, I know FlyQuest and Envision, Mongos a bit above, but being at that tier 2 EU slot, like, I think that's really strong in particular.
Yeah. I actually want to go back and watch some of Talon's VODs because I want to like see how Nedic plays under a new IGL, because he's pretty much only played in Rooster.
Yeah, he played under Azza. He previously played under Chelios, of course, as well. Main things overall with Talon's wins, MHL was very integral in one of them. And also Nettig and Addict were very integral in the game yesterday. Like, Addict had an absolute tear, so did Nettig as well. And I think on the second map, just Talon's absolutely dominated Rebels. Like, Rebels, I think they were down 11-2 at one point.
Hey, Aussie riflers, man.
Yeah.
Once they get going, you can't stop them.
Let's get the stats up quickly as well. So we'll get up here as well. Addict had an 87.5 ADR across both maps. Nettic has 78.9, and MHL at 86.1. And also, this is the funny part as well. Flay had 102 ADR. Like, Flay was on form, and Rebels still lost.
Yeah, like Talon's just better.
Yep.
I think.
Also, yep.
I think they're just better overall.
Also want to mention as well, Nedic, as you said as well, you want to see how he went. On Vertigo, Nedic went 21-9. Yep.
So it's still the same old Nedic.
Exactly. I'm going to go in with the flash assist as well, see how the flash assist went. I gotta say, overall, Rebels are a bit better with the flash assist, but I think the raw firepower, as you said, they're just better. You said it yourself, yep. Next up is...
And hold on. And then Talon's only gonna improve from now on, Like, they're still a pretty fresh roster.
Yeah, because I think I'll say the oldest player on the roster in the rifling corps, obviously Az is the oldest by far. I believe it's Hazard, but I want to double check that. It was actually Addict at 23, and MHL's 22. I forgot how young MHL is actually as well, but that's still quite a young core. Like, that core's got a lot of upside. Yeah. The worst part about the core, though, is that they're gonna have to change the IGL, and changing IGL suck. But not yet. Like, they have to change it right now. Obviously, Az is still 31, but it's gonna be a point where it's like the Hunden effect, okay, or the Carrigan effect, where your stats are too shit to really justify you being in the team.
I mean, I think Azure still has like 2 years left in them.
Yeah. And I think, to be fair, I think 2 years would be enough where you can just give the IGL role to someone else, basically. Yeah. Now, the next part we're going to talk about is we're going to really just go into the Mongolian scene overall. We've got you here. We've got a Mongolian fan here. They know all about it. And we'll just jump into that. So, with a big revival of the Mongolian scene, where do you feel it started where, like, because obviously Mongolian teams used to be just one or a few teams that weren't really well known. Now there's 8. So, what do you think was the catalyst of it starting?
Well, I think that was pretty much during the quarantine period, right? You had Tiger really pop off and win ESL 1 I think it was Road to Rio.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think it was sort of that inspired a lot of the Mongolian players and made them realize, hey, we can beat Tai Lu,
Mm-hmm. So it was like a Mongolian team, so the Mongols IHC, I'm not sure which, beat Thailand. It's just like, hey, we could do this.
Yeah.
Was there anything in particular why they picked CS2 over Valorant? Because also Valorant was coming out at the same time. What was the main thing to go into, CS2? Because obviously the rest of Southeast Asia went to Valorant. Anything in particular?
Well, I think it's mainly because like people just enjoy CS more, like Mongolians overall, and that particularly in the pro scene there isn't much support for Mongolia.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of the Mongolian Valorant teams have to play through like foreign leagues and stuff like that.
Is that really?
From what I understand,
Is that really because like Meta and Misa, like they host tournaments for CS2, but can't really get anything for Valorant, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think like Misa still holds Valorant tournaments, but they don't get all the international opportunities like you do in CS.
So it's just more of like, there's a pathway, like an actual pathway to international opportunities. They see like Urcast, they see like Techno, Blitz, and all those guys get it and score and stuff like that, and then they go to Valorant. It's just like, where's our pathway?
Non-existent.
Yeah, exactly. Is there any like impactful players who really guided the revival of the scene, in particularly for Mongolia? Because you got a lot of older players like Nuez. I remember seeing him ages ago. Bartek. Geez, I've just forgot all the players there, like Cabal. Because I remember he played for Checkmate ages ago. Like, what player in particular really led the charge?
It's just like with everything. I think it's more of a personal thing, but Urcast. Like he came over from Greyhound with all this international experience, all this new knowledge, and he taught it to August, and then Tiger, and that kind of spread among the Mongolian players, and obviously Blitz. Blitz our Lord and Savior.
What did he do in particular? Was it more developed in the Mongols, or?
Well, he's the fragging Agile of the best team, the best Asian team. In years. Like so pretty much the current Mongols kind of stems from another team called 2990. Like 2990, like one bullet type shot. Yeah, so that was kind of so behind like the team, like the org was a dude named Kazen. And that dude he's now the current like founder and CEO of the Mongols. So yeah, that team kind of evolved into Checkmate, and they got picked up by IEHC, and they left and became the Mongols we all know and love today.
Okay, I did not know that. I didn't know Checkmate got picked up by, IHC, then became the Mongols. It's a pretty interesting history, I gotta say, because I remember Checkmate was in a lot of playoffs. They had Dobu, Azteca, Cabal in it, and they were pretty decent. It was actually quite fun watching them and casting them, because I casted them with Wix ages ago. They didn't qualify, they got eliminated quite early, but it was good to watch them. With the revival overall, like, what really, so you got Urcast coming back in. So what did Urcast do? Obviously, you had Tiger first in particular. Is there any like main inspiration other than sharing strategies that that proved anything in particular? So of course it was really sad that he left because Greyhound wanted him back, basically.
I think it's mainly because like Urcast and Tiger won ESL one Road to Rio over like Tai Lu and all these big, like pretty much the top Asian teams that Mongolian teams previously just could not beat.
Because I think it was like ever since that, I think the last Mongolian team that did anything was the Mongols back I think it was like 2018 or 2017 when they qualified for the major and then they got destroyed by Visa basically.
Yeah, that was 2016.
2016.
Yeah. Back in 2016, back in 2016, the Mongols won IEM Taipei over Renegades.
Yeah.
And became like the Asian champions.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was pretty much the first time like. So after they won that tournament, they actually got on national television.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty much the first time like Mongolian esports was like recognized in mainstream media, and that kind of inspired the next generation of Mongolian players.
So like the revival, like even though Mongols unfortunately had to withdraw due to visa issues, it already inspired everyone to lead to that revival in the first place. Like it was not actually dead. Also as well.
Yeah, we just.
Oh, sorry, continue.
I think it's also because of Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
It pretty much took away, they pretty much took away every Asian country.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Korea, you only have Zine.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we had to play against Korean teams in in the East Asian close qualifiers for the minor and stuff like that.
Yeah. And now since that's gone, it's just all Mongolian teams basically.
Yeah.
Also, I was going to say overall, how's the media been in relative to esports coverage in Mongolia? Because in Australia, I feel like they only report on it when things go wrong and there's bad scandalous things happening. What does your region go with the media? Is it more like positive, negative, or kind of the same?
It's all the more of like the smaller news stations and stuff, they do actually talk about the Mongols.
Mm-hmm.
Like they made headlines after they won Yala. Mm-hmm. And for like normal people who are not in the know, they heard about like these 17-year-olds winning a tournament, mm-hmm. winning $200,000, which is like a hell of a lot of money in Mongolia.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, how much is some of this prize money for like the average Mongolian in particular? Because I remember talking to Nexus in particular when I think it was CS:GO Empire held a tournament and then they withdrew from it. And someone was trying to tell me that, there was not much money. And I'm like, no, this is like a yearly salary for a Romanian. How much would like 200,000 be in Mongolia?
A lot. Like a lot.
How many?
How
many yearly salaries? Like 3 to 4 yearly salaries, 1 yearly salary, like.
Probably more than that. So.
Yep.
If you think. So like pretty much the lowest paying like jobs in Mongolia are like working at convenience store workers, right? And they get part-time convenience store employees get paid. I think it was like the conversion is like $2 Australian an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
yeah,
£200 is obviously a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Jeez, like I say, if they get paid $2 an hour and they live, they able to eat and drink and survive on it, yeah, $200,000 you could probably build a mansion. I would say it depends, really.
Yeah.
Girl, did the media help in the reviving the Mongolian scene at all? Like, getting people interested in CS2, or was it just more inwards, like in the scene itself?
I'd say it was more inwards.
Mm-hmm. Now, you got any more discuss about that? Sorry.
Nah.
Okay. I think overall, like the revival of the Mongolian scene is actually such a great story because it's like a lot of these old players, in particular, Mara coming back to coach and stuff like that as well. That's really inspired a generation. Like, we're going to talk about the future Mongolian teams shortly. But you see all these Mongolian teams, and they always have that veteran that's been there since the start and have this enthralling story on which team they were on and whatnot. And I find that, like, absolutely amazing. Like, seeing a lot of these players spread out and teaching these young players and bringing them in and really building like a strong foundation where, let's just say Mongols fall over, you've got Atox and Chinggis warriors up as well. I'll get to the next topic, which is the future of the Mongolian CS scene. First point off the rank is, which team do you feel is going to be the next up and coming Mongolian team in the scene?
I think I already said this, but Cube. I just really like Cube, but I really like this IHC roster.
Well, what's your favorite part about the IHC roster? You also got Cube, IHC. What's the favorite part about it in particular? Because we'll get the IHC roster for you guys at home, unless you know off the top of your head. I think we got the roster. I've got the roster here, actually. We've got Arakul, Rue, Accuracy. The Zest is also joined, but I'm not sure where he's going to go. There's E-Fire and Wonders as well.
So, from what I heard, it's just like unannounced that I think it's I personally think it's pretty reliable, for like a reliable source. But from what I heard, Zest is coming in to replace Wonders.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So, what do you think is the biggest strength of this team in particular? Is the IGL, the Rifling Core, the AWP?
So I think the biggest strength is the IGL. Like they're actually playing like really good like systemic CS. They're not, not like trying anything too gimmicky. They're not like doing peeking and necessarily frag hunting. Okay, they're just playing solid CS. At one of the at one of the Misa events, they got ancient off of Mongols.
Dude, that's really impressive. And what happened in the other two maps? Was it just Mongols just much better, or Mongols had to get into gear?
I think second map was Inferno. It was like 13-3 Mongols win. So
yep, I think Mongols would just turn on.
Yeah. And they realized, oh wait, we actually have to try. Damn, bro. Yeah, and map 2 was map 2 was I think Dust 2, and it's like 13-8 or something. But I don't think you really read too much into that result, because I don't think both teams really practiced that much Dust 2 at the time, because that was like a couple of weeks after the map pool change. Yeah.
So about Cube overall, because the Cube did pretty good, because I did cast a few of their games. They actually did pretty decent in the playoffs. They beat negative. I forget this team's name, because it's a coldest temperature.
70 to C.
Pardon?
Negative 70 to C.
Yeah, that's right. They beat them in the playoffs, and it was really impressive as well. I was really impressed with their play style, players, and particularly had Anselmo as well playing particularly well. What are the main things we should watch out for the Cube?
I think they've got I think they just got solid riflers. Like if you're outside the Mongolian scene, and even a lot of the Mongolians, they have no idea who Solos or Clouden or Sunk. They have no idea about any of these guys. But they're like showing up. They're able to put up a pretty decent fight against Tai Lu.
Yeah. I'd say overall, I'd say Sana is very, very impressive. Like, Sana was incredibly clutch in a lot of games I've casted. Obviously, they fell down. I'm trying to think who they fell down to. I think it was Tyler, actually. I believe it was Tyler.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think that's really impressive for the Cube, to be honest. Because I gotta say right now, I thought they were just a nothing team. They were just making up the pack. But they did really bring it to Tyler, despite the fact that they had really no chance.
Yeah, if you actually watch how they're playing, they're actually organized. They're like in a lot of the clutch situations, they're swinging off of each other and not just they're not just randomly peeking like some other Mongolian teams do. Clutch.
It's more disciplined basically, and I heard the clutch there, the clutch gaming. So it's more like systematic and stuff like that as well, because they can be a bit of an issue in the AU scene as well. Like, a lot of teams are more free flowing, and there's no really that systematic team or systemic team where they work on a system. And when Australians play against that, they struggle. Do Mongolian teams have the same thing where if they play against a team that's really system driven, that they struggle, or is there enough system teams in the region that they're still used to it and able to adjust to it.
Uh, yeah, I definitely think the latter. The the team that doesn't actually use a lot of strategy is Clutch Gaming, who are currently in ECL.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, they're pretty much like a 5 stack.
Mm-hmm.
They just play for the lols.
Okay.
I think yeah, like last night they were playing against the Huns.
Yep.
And I think it was like Pilsky and Kongi casting. They were talking about how good Clutch could be if they actually, like tried and played systemic CS, because they have, they obviously have really sharp aimers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So I think they have a lot of the old club in there in particular. Like, a lot of the formerly really good players. So I'm trying to remember the players that they have in particular. Yeah, it's like, it's not like they have, like, any slouches. They have a very good lineup. Like, looking at it now, I believe, just looking at Clutch. Yeah, they have, like, Hastecker and stuff like that as well.
So with Clutch in particular, I still don't understand why they just play for the lows and not actually like fully try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that really annoys me as well. Like when a team is in a league and like because I think they don't really try and they just get walloped like 13-0 each week. That's why I really appreciated Canada event in particular in the AU League. Is because despite the fact they were getting absolutely pounded by every team, they tried to develop a strat book. They tried to develop everything in particular to try and win games, and you could really see them trying to adapt and take on teams in particular. Like you saw, what was it, Kraz knife Alistair, okay, and they were still trying to throw themselves at Greyhound and FlyQuest, even though they knew damn well they weren't going to win any of these Angels. They still tried anyway.
Yeah, and that genuinely pisses, like, sort of angers me that Clutch is in ECL while Chinggis Warriors aren't.
I always put it down.
Like,
yeah, I can understand. I can understand 100%. I'm just gonna say overall, it happens like where teams like are way too good in the lower division, and it's because they're stuck in that elo hell. But they eventually will rise up.
yeah. With from what I remember, Chinggis Warriors, they had to forfeit some of their ESA matches last season.
Mm-hmm.
Like ESA opens playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they had to play in Misa, and when they got back, they got instantly eliminated because it was online BO1.
Yeah. Jeez. Rough. Is there any other teams, particularly in the Mongolian region? Like, would Chinggis Warriors be another one to watch out for in the future? Like, they could make an Asia RMR run?
I think Chinggis could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my thing, from what I heard from Stormrage, who's their coach, he's not the coach anymore. Actually,
What did
like,
that?
he was on stream.
Oh, so who's the coach now for Chinggis?
I think it was Carnage.
Uh-huh.
You probably don't know him.
No, I don't.
But yeah, I think Carnage is that Carnage can and will be a better coach than Stormrage. From what I understand, Stormrage has taken on more of like a managerial position within Chinggis Warriors.
Yeah. How did Chinggis Warriors start up? Like, what's the sort of like org behind it? Is it like a big org in Mongolia, or is it a group of friends? Because it doesn't, sound like a brand. You get what I mean?
From what I understand, they are like somewhat of a pretty big org. They actually have like a Valorant team. They might even have a Dota team. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't really know about that. Yeah.
I actually thought they were like a 5-stack at first. I'm like, Chinggis Warriors, and it must mean something in Mongolian, and Warriors and whatnot. Sounds like a good 5-stack name. But like, I guess overall, like, why not pick them as one of those teams that could be threatening in the future? Or do you feel like they've met their peak, or they're not really like the underdog anymore? They actually are peaking.
Like, I still think they can improve, but not that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cube, like Like I think Chinggis could get like 25% better, but Cube could get 50% better. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the key aspects of like Cube in particular? Like, how much they'll get better? Like, what's the main catalyst? Is it a rifling core?
Yeah, it's the rifling core.
Yeah.
Like it's Asia. Every rifler's it's just got at aiming. You know?
Mm-hmm. So I gotta say in particular, like one person I would highlight is definitely Sana on that roster. Like Sana was very, very good in the BO3s I casted and was able to get a lot of key entries and key clutches as well. But I think that will be it for today. Anything you want to say to anyone on stream or anything like that before you go?
Let me think. Actually, can I like plug my Twitter?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, plug your Twitter, man. Yeah, link it in chat. In fact, whoever gets it first, okay, I'll link your Twitter and stuff in chat. I completely forgot about that. I was actually gonna do it after this as well. But shut yourself out.
Okay, hold on.
You know what? I found it before you. Okay, I'll put it into YouTube video as well. That's Thursday's Twitter. So Thursday Twitter is Traposki. Basically, he posts a lot about a lot of Mongolian CS in particular. He provides a lot of information to talent about all the Mongolian CS teams and who the IGLs are, and also helps out with particular news and where they could be going. He actually did suggest that he could, like Zesta in particular, when he was dropped from Atox, which I was really surprised by, that he was going to IHC. He was trying to figure out which team needed a rifler. So, he's definitely someone who's got his pulse on the scene at the Mongolia in particular. And really appreciate you coming on at last late notice, because obviously it's a day's notice. And yeah, like I say, it makes my life a lot easier given the fact I was stressing on who was going to have as a guest this week.
Hey man, I had nothing to do, so.
And we can both watch, IEM Cologne together. Who you think's going to win and why?
I can't say. I don't really want to speak of it. I don't really want to speak on cannibalism.
Okay, don't worry. We just say FlyQuest 2-0 and end the stream. Nah, I think overall it'll be a great match. I reckon it'll be 2-1 to, it could be 2-1 to Mongols, 2-1 to FlyQuest. I'm just going to say FlyQuest because I'm an Aussie. And yeah, I think it's going to be a very great game. It sucks that one of the teams have to go out. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. Anyways,
yeah.
Hope to see you later in my chat. And hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you guys enjoyed the stream, you guys can subscribe and follow here. And if you enjoyed it on YouTube, you can subscribe as well. In the comments will be Thursday's Twitter as well. And make sure you follow him if you want updates on the Mongolian scene overall. Yes, guys, hope you guys have a good one and see you guys later. Peace out. Bye.